Hello there. Welcome back to Fridge and Pipes Garage. I'm obviously missing someone here. My co-host Seth isn't here. This will be the introduction to a new series on the channel. I'm going to call it Fridge's Side Projects. It'll basically be A, to kind of help pump out a little more content, B, kind of showcase what I'm working on the side, what I'm not working on the main channel project, aka the Ford currently, and then in the future, whatever it may be. So it kind of gives you guys a little glimpse into what I'm doing on the side. So to introduce this truck, this is a 81 W150. I bought this truck 10 years ago now, at least 10 years ago now. It's obviously it's a W series, W meaning 4x4. So it has currently a 400 Big Block Mopar swapped into it. As you can see, this engine actually is freshly rebuilt. Just did nothing too crazy to it. Just a re-ring, re-bearing type rebuild, nothing too fancy. Get some better side shots of the truck for you guys. So yeah, like I said, I've had this truck for 10 years now. Paid $625 for it. It's got a little bit of rust, as most northern Canadian trucks do. But for the most part, it's actually pretty rust-free truck. And it has been sitting. As you can see, there is accumulation of junk in the box. But overall, not a bad truck. Same with the interior. Interior needs a good clean. But it is also I don't know if you can see, but it is a stick shift truck. Yeah, this would be probably the very first truck I ever owned, bought myself. So lots of sentimental value to it. Right now it's sitting on 35-inch tires. I don't know what size lift it has in it. Somebody had put, actually I'll show you, just to show you what I'm talking about. Someone put blocks in it, like all the way around blocks. And A, that is not the right proper way to do a lift kit if you're doing one. So as you can see, there is a block under that leaf spring, as with that one. So the proper way to do a lift kit on a leaf spring truck is you buy a leaf spring with the proper curve. And that is something I have never addressed since owning this truck. So today, what we're going to be doing, swapping out fuel pump. So like I said, fresh engine in this truck. Ended up, fuel pump from sitting went bad. Ordered a brand new Carter pump. Part number is M6935. If you'd like to buy one for yours, I picked this up off Rock Auto. It was like $17 or something. Also, as with the Ford project on the channel, I will be doing a build list for this truck, just so you guys can kind of follow along, see what parts I'm using, and if you would like to purchase one of the parts that we use in our videos, it will be in the Google Docs down below. Follow the link and I'll take you to the website where we bought it from. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into changing this fuel pump. Okay, that looks pretty good. So, as you guys can see, you're looking at an alternator currently. I have you zip tied in the corner of the truck. So the fuel pump actually is down here below the alternator. Shed some light on this situation. So as you can see, I kind of cut, I pulled the alternator off quick. Just two bolts, one that goes through here to the head, and then your slider bolt right there to adjust your tension. So now, as you can see, fuel pump is currently unhooked from the tank. That will be in another episode. why it's unhooked from the tank. But yeah, we will be dropping the tank on this truck because it has been sitting for enough time that something is plugged. Unfortunately, that's not today's project. Today's project is get it running and driving off of its own fuel pump again, and then basically go from there. So one little trick on Mopar fuel pumps, the way the body is designed on them, you can't go very easily square on with a socket. So what I usually do is drop my socket when I'm trying to explain. 1 second. So what I usually will do, grab a wobble like such, and then you can actually kind of have some maneuverability to work your way around that fuel pump to get onto your bolts. And yes, an impact makes this way easier, but actually I'm going to electric ratchet this one because I'm being lazy today. I'll crack it for you though. So also normally, like I said, you'd have to unhook your fuel pump or your fuel line. Obviously, I don't have any fuel lines connected right now. Because like I said, I'm not running off the tank. I'm running off the, I'm going to have a secondary source, probably actually right in the fender well. That's what I will do. What kind of shape's that gasket in? I might have forgot to grab the gasket. 1 second. So, welcome back everybody. I did some off-camera work. So, this is not the proper way to do this. This is the old line off the old pump. It actually broke off. And my flaring tool is broken right now, not bent. My flaring tool is broken, so I can't actually make up a new line right at this moment. So being we're running a temporary tank, we're doing a temporary line fitting. I'll just do a rubber to this. But, so, one thing when you're doing fuel pump on a big block Mopar is you need to be aware that there is a dowel pin that pushes. It's in the hole. I can feel it. So I need it to stay. Basically, to show you guys what I'm talking about. So it actually pushes on this here, and it's run off the cam. So why can't I push that? Apparently, you can kind of hear it. But yeah, basically it rides right there. It's a push rod. Goes like this, and it pushes this, and that actually creates your pumping action. So that push rod is off your cam. So before you put your fuel pump in, you need to make sure that that push rod is up out of your way. Because if it's not up out of your way, you're gonna have a fun time trying to jam a fuel pump in there. Which I think I got it out of my way. It can be a bit of a tricky thing sometimes to do. So what you can actually do, take some grease on your finger and then kind of get it to stick up. And once you get it to stick up, then you can put your fuel pump in. Oh, I should turn my... 1 second, you just probably can't see what I'm doing right now. God almighty, I hate doing fuel pumps. Such an annoying thing. So normally on a fuel pump, should be what's called an eccentric. And the eccentric will actually drive your pump. Not this push rod. This is actually what I prefer. Grease everywhere. So, anyways, as I was saying, for those of you who don't know your Mopars, you may not realize that this engine is not factory. Okay. So yeah, this engine is not factory to this truck. It was swapped in by one of the previous owners. I don't know who it was. I do know the last owner actually pretty good of it, the guy who sold it to me. And I do know the guy before him, who owned it before him fairly well. Him and my dad are pretty good friends. But yeah, I don't know who put it in. Originally, when I bought the truck, it had a 383. This is a 400 big block out of like a 74 Newport or Monaco or something. I don't remember what we pulled it out of. But yeah, nothing too crazy fancy special, but just a warmed over 400. Obviously it's been rebuilt for sure twice. I rebuilt it the second time. When I first put this engine in, what did we all do to it? I think we drilled the crank. So there again, for those of you who don't know, cast crank Mopars, big blocks, maybe small blocks too, but for sure big blocks, were never drilled for a pilot bushing for a standard transmission. So, ended up, what's going on here? Ended up pulling the crank out, drilled it so it would accept a pilot from obviously the transmission where the input shaft goes in, and then put the crank back in. Once the crank was back in, basically chucked it in the truck, ran it, started using oil, put it in, drilled the crank, put it in, ran it like that while I was in high school with just a plain old 400 stock cam. Obviously, it's still got stock manifolds, as you can see. Nothing super special, awesome, crazy. Ran it like that for, must have been 5 years. Because it was running and driving by the time I was 15, because I did some learner driving in it. And then I drove it through high school till grade 12. Started smoking really bad and when I was in grade 12. So I ended up parking the thing. And then pulled it apart when I was like 19 or 20. I was just out of high school. And then it sat apart for, I bet you, 4 years. Yeah, it must have been 19 when I pulled it. And I just put it in June, I want to say. Kind of right before, actually, Seth and I started doing the whole YouTube thing. So yeah, right now it's got a bit of a cam in it. It is like a 445, 465. I think it's like 215 at 223 at 50. Howard's cam, nothing crazy. Basically like equivalent to like say a 446 pack cam back in the day. 450 lift. Nothing crazy. It's obviously still a truck. I didn't want to keep it good street manners, good bottom end, good torque. And being it's a jacked up 4x4, obviously a guy wants to do a little bit of mudding with it, whatever. So yeah, I think that's basically all the history I got on it. So yeah, now I'm just thinking in my head how I want to run this fuel line. Probably have to go grab some. Is there any fuel line? I think I might just use this chunk. So yeah, this is going to be a little hokey of a setup temporarily until I actually get it hooked back up to the tank. Like I said, I just want it to be able to run, drive, move on its own power again. And once it's doing that, then we can address some of the other issues, like the part where it runs terrible. Well, it runs and idles fine. just when you go to drive it, for whatever reason, it gets super grumpy. And the carb acts funky when you try to get into the throttle, but only in second, third, fourth. Then it runs fine. And I don't know if I have a carb issue going on or if I have a something else issue going on, but there is an issue of sorts. So yeah, this was my temporary pump I had set up. This electric inline clickety clack. That was just to basically get the truck running, which it obviously is doing now. I'll do this in a way that doesn't hit the camera. The other way. Okay, so on. This guy. And with this guy. And we're just gonna stick this on there. Like I said, temporary fuel system. This is not staying. I want to reiterate that. This is not something I would ever run permanently on the street. This is super hack right now, but I'm doing what needs to be done until the tank can get pulled. Okay. So, I don't want to have this alternator sit now. Okay, it should be good like that. This now has to come kind of like this. And okay. Also, not factory spacer on the alternator. That's homemade, but it works. So I don't care. I think I made that one in the lathe, actually. Yeah. It's also extremely hot today, like gross hot. I don't know how hot it is, but not pleasant. I think it's like plus 33 Celsius, whatever that is in Fahrenheit. It's the weird thing about being in Canada. They're just a mismatch of the systems. Because we use Celsius for temperature, but we use pounds for weight, for like human body weight. But then you measure like flour in kilograms, and then you go by kilometers for driving distance, but our fields are measured in acres, which is the standard. Canada's a mishmash jumble of weird measurements. Kind of got, I'd actually borderline say we got the best of both worlds, but so I'm sure some American in the comments will tell me otherwise, but that's okay. And I'm sure some European in the comments will tell me the other way as well, that metric is superior, which it's not. Like if a person told me they weighed 100 kilograms, I don't know what that means. Is that a lot? Is that little? I don't know. Someone told me they were 1.5 meters tall. Is that tall? I don't know. I know 6 feet is tall. I don't know if 1.5 meters is tall. I think 6 feet is actually like 1.9 meters, but I have to convert it in my head. Now, if I quit dropping tools, we will, well, I will. You guys aren't going to do anything but watch. I'm going to see if this thing will fire. Put you right here. This would be a good spot. I think the carb does not have fuel. We're going to try cranking it and see what happens. It's really got no fuel. Okay. Let's see if I can't fill the bowl. That's probably way too much, but that's fine. Put this thing in the fire. I don't. Okay. Win. So, as you guys heard, she lives. Next step, probably what we're going to do, well, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to address the fact that the box is full of junk, as I showed you guys earlier. And yeah, enjoy some sped up footage of me cleaning the box out, because that's what's happening next. And after that, probably drop the fuel tank. I don't know. This manifold is the old manifold I had on this truck. As you can see, it is cracked. Tried brazing it, brazed it up, and it just cracked worse. So I ended up went and got a different manifold from a vehicle out back. Camera died. That's what actually happened. That's why I quit recording.
Camera died.
Camera died.
I showed up.
I have help now. We were, I don't know what were we doing? Oh, off-camera work on the Ford F100 series. Go watch that now. Annotation. I don't know. Click the link to the channel. Go watch the Ford F100 series.
Yeah. It's a good show.
Misadventure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna keep cleaning the box out now that I have extra help. We were gonna drop the fuel tank today, but we're not now. So, let's get to it.
Cue speed up.
Cue speed up.
Dude, I am jiggy with it. Almost where it did.
Truck box is as clean as we're getting it for today. Probably gonna pressure wash it, but there is no holes. This truck, like I told you guys earlier, is extremely, well, it's not California rust free, but it's pretty Canada rust free. Right, Seth?
Yeah, I'd say.
So, like I said, box floor is not too bad.
This is like Arizona rusted out.
Yeah, this is Arizona rusted out, but it's Canada rust free.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you guys saw, this box is now cleaned out. It's actually rust free, the holes. No holes in it. Truck looks pretty good. Rust free. Nice patina. But yeah, so for the next episode, probably what's gonna happen, for sure, is Seth's gonna help me pull a fuel tank.
Yes, I am.
And we're pulling that ugly thing off. This thing right there. It's been on the truck since I've owned it. I've never attempted to pull it off. So we're gonna attempt to pull it off. So it looks better on the truck basically, without it. And maybe, depending on how much footage I have and content, I might include me installing a Wind aluminum intake, Wind, however you pronounce it. You decide. I don't care. Yeah, I got an aluminum intake put on it, dual plane. So that'll probably be, maybe, also in the next episode. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Fridge's side projects. Had a little guest appearance I didn't expect to have with Seth, aka Pipes, showing up. And yeah, tune in for the next one. We'll probably, like I said, we drop the fuel tank, pulling that rear bumper hitch thing that's been custom built. I didn't put it on there. I did not put it on there. And yeah, maybe we'll be doing the intake as well, aluminum intake. Yeah, catch you guys in the next one. So for those of you non-Mopar people, you may not realize this is not a factory engine to this truck. What I'm about to do is not street legal in any capacity. Not that I overly care about breaking the law per se, just I'd rather not light myself on fire, more so is what I'm worried about. Ease and flow comes along like borrowed time. We don't know. Jamming out. You guys can't listen to it, but I can. You never had these before. Pretty good. This stuff, not as good.